right? And to be honest, guys, I was, like I mentioned, I was a teacher in this international school for 15 years. So I was sort of like teaching others how to implement knowledge, right, from books and from everywhere that was accessible. But the thing is that I was not very excited about that job in the school, even though I was working in one of the best schools around Asia and Europe. But why I was not um, happy with it is because I didn't see results that I wanted for my students, right? Like I was like giving them the knowledge, and then they had the knowledge, and some of them were actually very good and very successful in school, but then afterwards they were not doing anything with this knowledge, right? It was like for nothing, time wasted for me and for them, right? And that was something that was growing in me so hard that I actually like I swore the revenge against the school system. That's why I'm wearing this T-shirt. You know, like no, this cannot be like this, right? The school system is screwing us over, right? Because they're not showing us what should we do with this whole knowledge. They're just giving us knowledge and knowledge and knowledge and knowledge for nothing. There's no connection with the why I need this, how I going to use it, how it's going to make me better, how it's going to make somebody else better around me, right? So I figured, okay, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better way of, you know, educating people, teaching people, giving them the capabilities, right? And so for me, it was like it was a journey, but I discovered the self-education business, right? The knowledge business, and I was able to start connecting with students directly without a school, without five different levels, five different bosses that I have to serve before I actually get to serve the student, right? So now, as Dion mentioned, I'm actually teaching adults at this point, and I'm supporting them in implementation of the steps of the knowledge that they gain, and they want to do something with it, right? This is what I do as a coach, I call myself a communication coach, because at the end of the day, in order to implement some stuff and make it visible out there in the marketplace, you just need to know how you can communicate properly, effectively, your message, the thing that you discovered about yourself, right, about your better self, to the other people. If you can't do that, then everything is working, right? You're leading a better life. So today I'm going to show you one exercise, one tool, and at the end of the session, you're actually going to get this tool right away. Dion is going to send it also through emails, guys. So you will have a tangible thing that you can start using every day, right? To make sure that if you got some good knowledge, if you got some good idea, you can turn it into action, right? By going through the 3 steps. Okay, that sounds good. Are we doing it today? Awesome. Super. Okay, I actually have a little presentation for you, because I believe that we have different type of learners in the room, and most of my students were always visual learners, so they like it to see things, right? So I trust that having like a visual representation of what we're talking about over here is always supporting us. But other than that, guys, I do recommend to take a pen and paper, because the moment you're writing something down, only that action of writing, it doesn't matter if you're going to read, you don't even have to read it later. Just the fact that you're writing it is already giving you a chance to retain 30% of more of what you heard today. Okay, so make sure that you do have pen and paper. Okay, you can give me in the comments, like, I'm ready for the presentation. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for taking action. And we're going to go right into this presentation. It's not going to be very long, but I'm going to share with you like a little story behind it, just to make sure that you understand where this whole thing comes from. Okay, so this is what we're going to do today. how to take action purposefully. All right, this is we are, me and Dion, we're actually very big on abbreviations, acronyms, you know, like we like to put things in simple, easy to remember letters. So it's like, oh, I need to tap, oh, I need to do the GPS, oh, I need to do like these like 3 letters, and you easily remember the thing that you need to do. So we're going to be tapping, and we're going to be setting our GPS. Okay, now what it's going to do, if you're actually going to start utilizing this tool, it will kill the overwhelm. We will overcome the overwhelm if you do the things this way, right? It will get you unstuck. In most cases, we are stuck. We're not doing the action because we have too much of information, right? Or the steps that we have to do, the idea that we have to implement is too big, and we don't know where to start, right? Or what's the next step? And so we don't do anything, right? Or sometimes it's just too many things at the same time. And then finally, it's always the worst part in everything is to do the first thing, right? Like, it's like people are saying, a lot of coaches are using this example. If you go into the gym, the hardest part of going to the gym is what? Can you tell me in the chat? What's the hardest part of going to the gym?
Getting there.
Getting there, right? Getting there, going out of your door, right? That's the hardest part. Once you're in the gym, you're gonna do something. You're gonna do the workout, right? It's gonna roll. But starting is always the hardest, right? So if we have this tool, the GPS, we always have to start. But the thing is that once you start, you want to stay in progression. You don't want to stop, right? It's like pushing the car up the hill, or even not up the hill, just pushing the car. Just to start pushing, it's very hard. You have to put a lot of effort. But once it's rolling, you can keep on pushing it, right? It's going to roll, and it's going to be easier and easier. So this one tool is giving you this. Now, before I give you the gist, before I give you the 3 steps of GPS, I wanted to share with you this one little story about the mama eagle. Okay, I don't know if anybody here in a room knows Joel Osteen. I'm just gonna stop sharing for a second. Anybody knows Joel Osteen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
if you can put your cameras on and participate. It makes it more cohesive. So please.
Yes, totally. If I could, it would be awesome to see your faces, guys, right? Or but if you are not in a position to turn on the camera, you can also just be active in the chat so we can see that you're there. Okay. So Joel Osteen is a guy that has like a lot of cool videos on YouTube because he's running a church, like a mega church, right? And he has a lot of really cool stories, right? I'm listening to this guy sometimes because he has really good stories. And one of the stories of Joel Osteen is about the mama eagle, all right? And he says, when it comes to taking action, right, in anything, it's sort of like this, that people sometimes they don't take action because they don't have certainty, they don't have the belief that this action will bring them the result they want, right? If there is no certainty that the action is actually giving you that result, right? Then the actions that you're taking are weak.
Mike, we lost connection, or was it? Did we lose?
It was only you.
Okay.
Do you hear me now?
I heard.
Well, could hear. Okay, go ahead. Sorry about that.
We're good. Okay. In case, guys, in case something happens, you can just let me know in the chat so I see, right? So you can let me know if everybody hears me.
Okay.
Okay. Let me check the time over here. Good. Okay. So if you can hear me, just say type 1 or yes. Okay. So I can see that you have audio. All right. So we're talking about mama eagle. Okay. How is this relevant to taking action? You see, when eagles, when they lay eggs, right, in the nest, the mama eagle has to sit on the egg for 35 days, right? 35 days. And this egg is not giving to mama eagle any sign of life. Nothing. This egg is not moving. It's not changing. It's staying still. staying the same. It's not growing. Nothing is changing. The egg is exactly the same every single day for 35 days, right? And what the mama eagle does is sitting on this egg and keeping it warm, right? No matter what's happening around, the mama eagle has to sit on the egg, because the moment the temperature of the egg is changing, the baby eagle will die, right? So mama eagle is sitting 35 days on something that is pretty much nothing else than a stone. For mama eagle, there would be no difference if she's sitting on the stone or an egg. So look at this, how nature gave mama eagle this belief that she needs to sit on this pretty much lifeless thing for 35 days to have a first sign that it gave her a result that she was counting on. Right? Now think about it in a sense of our actions. If I would tell you that you have to do something for 35 days and focus on it, focus full power on this one thing, and you can't be distracted with anything else, and for 35 days, you're not going to have a single feedback that whatever you're doing is bringing any results, would it be easy for you to commit? No, right? It wouldn't be easy. Doing something 35 days, and that's just like doing like, okay, I'm going to do it for 15 minutes. Mama eagle is sitting on the egg all day long, right? Believing that after 35 days, the baby eagle will come, right? And in most cases, the baby eagle comes. But throughout this 35 days, nothing happens. Nothing. Completely nothing, right? Now, what this story is teaching us, guys, is that your actions will determine your result. But your actions will be weak if you don't have a belief that they will bring the result that you want, right? So everything starts with you believing that it's actually gonna happen. And good thing that Melanie turned up, because I just wanted to say about her Monday. That's why Dion invited Melanie to this group, because you need to have a belief about yourself that you're capable of doing things, right? That you're capable of achieving these amazing things that you have in your mind that nobody knows about yet, right? If you have that belief, then you're gonna put massive action into the plan that you're gonna roll out, and it will happen, right? Just like the baby eagle is coming out after 35 days of nothingness, right? So make sure, guys, that you remember this when you will be planning your actions, right? The results, the best results are not coming immediately. We need to be patient, and we need to stay committed to what we planned, and the reward will come in time, right? We just have to believe that it's coming. And now, when the nature equipped mama eagle and everything works, and the baby's coming and hatching, and it's all good. Now, when it comes to our actions, it's not that simple, because we want to do something and we kind of don't know if we're doing it right or maybe wrong, or maybe it's not happening because I'm doing the wrong thing, or maybe the strategy is wrong, or something change, the situation change, it's not relevant anymore, or whatnot, right? And we're losing that belief, and then our actions are weak and nothing happens, right? So in order to make sure that you actually have the strong belief, you need support of somebody who already been where you want to go, right? Who already done what you want to do, right? Even if it's not exactly the same thing, but at least you have some role models. You have some people who achieved things that were not achievable. You've heard Dion's story, right? Like it was for her, the result, she had to wait 39 years before actually like realizing, what's my mission over here? What I need to do? And then when she started to put massive action, because she was 100% sure that this is the way to go, things started to happen, right? So now, this is the first part, guys, that I want you to make sure that you have it. You always start with like having certainty that whatever you planned for yourself is going to take you where you actually want to go, right? Now, I just wanted to make sure that you remember Cameron's speech, because it was also so amazing what Cameron said. Like, how do you figure out what will actually make this big difference? What are the actions worth taking that will turn me into this better self? Well, it's probably in most cases something that you're actually avoiding because you don't know how to do it, right? And if you actually did the homework and listed down the to-do list, right, all these different things you had on this list, now you might start thinking about which parts, which elements on that list are actually meaningful to me, right? How is it relevant to me? What does it give me, this particular action, right? Now, once you allocate that thing that you actually need to do, this is where the GPS comes in, right? You already have an idea where you want to go or what you want to do, what you want to achieve, right? What's the goal? What's the result? Okay. So now we're going to go through these 3 steps of GPS, right? This is known to everybody as a global positioning system, right? GPS, okay? But we are using it for our planning system, right? For our planning method, and it stands for ground point, purpose, and steps, okay? So in order to have something done, guys, you have to have these 3 things. First, you have to know where you want to go, right? The destination. What's the purpose? What's the result that I want to achieve? Then, in order to, like, if you're typing in your destination in your GPS, right, in your phone, for instance, in order to have the path, to have the steps, what you need to put in is where you are right now, right? Because otherwise, the phone is not going to tell you. You're just going to have the destination point, but if you don't have a starting point, the path is not going to show on your phone, right, or on your GPS. So you need to put in the ground point where you are right now, and then finally you press the button, and it shows you the steps. It shows you the way, like go 100 meters here, turn here, turn here, turn here, and you have these directions, right? The smaller steps. It doesn't tell you, oh, if you're here and you want to go there, this is the way. Go north. Right? No, it's not gonna work. It's gonna tell you the smaller steps, and then you will know how you can get to the end destination by taking small steps, right? So now this is how it works, like we take it from the GPS to our planning method, right? We have these 2 anchors. We have the result, and we know where we are right now, right? So now we don't really know how to go from where we are to the end result in one step. In most cases, we don't know that, right? Because these are sort of like, unless it's not a very challenging goal. But if you put a challenging goal over here on the top, the end result, then in most cases you will need like a fractal goals, the smaller steps in between, that you need to take, and you can measure them. You can actually check them, which makes it so much better than what Mama Eagle needs to do. Because Mama Eagle don't have the checkpoints in the middle. She needs to wait 35 days to have the first results. You guys don't have to wait 35 days. You can figure out, okay, what are the smaller signals that I can measure, right? In order to figure out if I'm on the right path, if I'm going the right way, right? And you can set those signals pretty easy once you have these 2 points, the end and the beginning. Okay. So now let's jump into this, and I will pretty much just walk you really quickly through the GPS, how you use it. Okay. So the same way, like you're using your phone, right? When you're planning your path, you have to start with the end in mind, right? With the purpose in mind. Where am I going? Okay, I think Dion was mentioning that the other day as well, right? That we have to plan by looking into the future, right? And not drawing drilling our past, right? Like figuring out like what was before, what happened before, what that means to me right now. Forget about that. Just figure out where you actually want to be, and it doesn't matter if you know how to get there or not. You don't need to know how to get there. You only need to know what you want, right? Where you want to go. Or what this actual result that you want to achieve, right? Now, once we have that, what it's going to give you is that we already know that we have destination, one direction, right? One anchor, and it's not going to change. This is going to be something that will stay still. It will be a fixed point, right? We need to achieve that moment, that level, okay? But when you're planning, right? When you're planning, when the GPS is planning your path, sometimes different things happen, right? And the path, how you can get there can change, because the GPS can tell you, oh, there's a traffic over here, you have to change the route, or there's an accident over here, you have to go around or something, right? So the path can change, but the destination will still stay the same, right? So this is very important. Like I remember a lot of my students actually had that problem, because they felt like they're not congruent. They felt like they're not consistent, right? And I was saying, are you sure you're not consistent? And they were telling me like, yeah, because I do this, and then I start to do something else, and I start to do, and I said, but why? Well, because it didn't work for me, and I tried something else. Okay, but do you still want the same thing? Yeah. So that means you're consistent. You're just trying different ways. You just have to make sure that you're trying the right things, right? And I will tell you later one tip how you can do it, not by doing your own errors and mistakes, but actually following a little bit faster way, okay? So now we have the destination point. The second bit, guys, is the ground point. Over here, like I said, if you remember who here in the room was still using maps, like this lady over here. No GPS, just a normal map, like a paper map. Anybody in the room was using a normal paper map? I was using it. Like I'm a generation that was still using the paper map, right? The problem with the paper maps was that you can get the bit where you want to be and try to figure out how to get there, but if you don't know where you are right now, it's not going to work, right? So the GPS right now, it just connects you with the satellite, and the satellite tells you where you are. So it's a little bit easier. But for us guys, we actually need to figure that out. And for what does it mean for our planning? For our planning, what does it mean? It means that you need to figure out what are your current capabilities and resources, right? That's what it means. This is sort of like the truth. You have to face the truth. If you don't know something, that you say, I don't know. If you don't have something, then you say, I don't have this, right? If you do have something, then you write down, I have this, I can use this, I can use this. I don't have, for example, that much time. I don't have the money to invest in this thing, right? I can't buy this. I can't something, right? So this is the truth. You have to face the truth, because if you're gonna be like cheating yourself, like saying, yeah, you know, I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm not doing this. That's not gonna work. You have to be truthful to make sure that you actually really know where you start, where your starting point, right? That will help you to design the steps, right? So now, once we have that truth, you are going really full out with that. We're gonna break down the path into smaller steps, right? That's the last thing, the steps, okay? We get overwhelmed because in most cases, like once we already know the destination, right? We have the clarity where we want to go. The other reason why we're not doing what we're supposed to do is because the step that we need to take is too big. It's not a step, it's like a leap or huge jump, and we can't take it. It's too big, right? So we need to narrow down these steps, like making these steps smaller and doable. Only then you will have clarity on what you are supposed to do, what action you have to take in order to walk towards your destination, right? That makes sense so far, guys? Can let me know in the comment section if so far, if I didn't lose anybody.
Very good.
Awesome. So like I said, guys, I like to embed everything in little stories. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Marie. Awesome. Great. Super. So now look, guys, I'm going to give you an example, okay? Because I feel like most of my students, whenever I'm teaching something, I give the theory, we have the strategy, they sort of like know what to do, but then when it comes to doing it, they sort of want to see, how did you do it? Show me, how did you do it, right? What's the example? And they learn on the example. So I'm going to show you example from the school. This is one of the child. This is Moana, one of the children from our refugee education center in Malaysia that we are running with my wife. This is sort of like something that we're doing just to give back to the community, right? And so one of the things that we're doing is that they're coming and when we're teaching them the things that they would like to know, right? Obviously, it's our job to connect it with some knowledge that will be useful for them in the future. But we want to make sure that whatever we're teaching is actually relevant to them, is something that they actually want to do, right? So we're giving them the purpose. We're anchoring this back end, right? They know that they want to go, they want to get better at something. And we know where they are right now by checking it, by basically making certain checks. So here's what I did. Moana over here, she was struggling a little bit with maths, but she really liked to do puzzles, right? And the thing with Moana was this, that I gave her the puzzles. We had like a baby puzzles. It was just 12 pieces. She just done. Oh, that was cool, fun. I want more, right? Give me another one. I gave her the 50 pieces, and then I came back after 20 minutes. She didn't do anything. And I asked her, Moana, why are you not doing? Like you said, you like it, and you were so good with these other ones, right? And she said, like, I don't know, because I was trying to do this, and it's so many different elements, and I'm looking, just like, I don't know which one goes where, right? Just 50 pieces. So I'm thinking, but you knew how to do the 9 one, like the 12th one, right? So what we did is said, okay, how about we do this? If we don't have 50, but we're gonna have like less pieces, would it be easier for you to do? And she already connected with the prior knowledge. Yeah, that I can do because I know that I'm already there. I am able to do 12, right? So okay, Sam says, so let's find a way how we can separate the 12 pieces, or like around 12, a smaller amount of pieces, so you can actually put them together, right? And how are we gonna do this? Well, there's a couple different strategies. So I'm giving her the step. Instead of trying to make the puzzle, you just figure out which puzzles are going onto the edge and which are going inside the puzzle, right? That's your task. You don't do the puzzle, just separate the puzzle. Edge, no edge, edge, no edge, edge, no edge, edge, no edge. And she did that, right? That's easy. Very simple step. Okay, now it turns out that the ones that had the edge, it was like 20 of them or something like that, or 25, still quite a lot. So I told her, you know what, how about we do this? Now look at this, the one that has an edge, and only choose the one that have red color, and the one that don't have red color, put them away. Okay, I can do that, right? Red, no red, red, no red, red, no red, red, no red. Easy, right? Okay, so now we have like 7 or 8 pieces that are edge and have a red color. Can you do that? Yeah, I can do that because I was already doing like 12 pieces before, right? So I can put 7 together. And she put all the pieces with the red color. That was like one corner of the puzzle, right? And then she did the same thing with the other corner, and with the other corner, and the other corner. So we had the frame. And then inside, we did the same thing. Okay, can you find me the pieces that only have the face of a person? And the one that doesn't have the face of the person, put it on the other side. All right, and then she did the same. By like 20 minutes, right? We went through the strategy, and it took her a little while, right? It was like all together, I think by the time we finished was over an hour. But the cool thing about it is that once she get the strategy, the next time she didn't need me anymore, right? Because she already had the steps, right? And she was doing her own, like, okay, this was going to be my first step, my second step, my third step, my fourth. She was breaking down the big task that she had at the beginning to the smaller steps that she was really able to do, and she was progressing, right? So this is just like a one example, guys, how it actually looks. And with everything that you want to do, no matter if you want to put the puzzle together, or you want to set up your business, or you want to become an influencer, or maybe you want to build your brand, just like Dion. And we're doing the same thing with Dion right now. Like she is an image curator, right? She has amazing knowledge, but she didn't know how to put it out there on social media so she can attract more people and help more people, right? And it's not like, okay, so what she did, she went find somebody who already know, but that person gave her the whole puzzle with a million pieces, right, in it. And so she needed somebody to break it down to smaller pieces, right? So she can take this part, this part, this part, this part, this part. Okay, you got the brand. You got the brand on social media, and then you can build your business around it, right? And with everything in your life, guys, really, it doesn't matter if you're setting a business, or you want to have a better relationship, or maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you have another idea for yourself. Maybe you want to start traveling. You can break down these things to doable steps, right? By designing the anchor at the end, the beginning point, and then breaking down the steps, okay? So going back to our situation here, these are the steps, right? And now the thing is, once you already have the breakdown of these steps, you don't try to figure out how to do all the steps. That's not the way to go, right? Imagine that I will tell Moana, who was trying to do the puzzle, if I would give her all the steps in one go and try to teach her what she will be doing from the beginning to the end, right? She would get overwhelmed and she would not do the first step. That's why I didn't tell her all the steps. I just told her, you know what? How about we just separate edge, no edge, edge, no edge? And I'm not telling her the rest, right? So now she's just doing the first step. And this is exactly what you need to do. Once you have like a sort of a breakdown between these 2 points, you only focus on one step, on a step one. And you don't even get bothered figuring out how to do step 3 until you don't have step 1 done, right? Because you will get overwhelmed if you're going to try to do that, right? We want to make sure that we are in constant progression, and constant progression is only happening if you know what is the immediate step that you need to do. You don't need to have to answer for all the steps that are coming after that, right? It will come when the time comes, then you will figure that out. Okay, so now Dion, when I was speaking to Dion, the last bit of this presentation is the TAP method, right? And this is definitely the best possible way. This is what differentiates us from Mama Eagle, guys. Tapping, okay? Because Mama Eagle cannot tap. She has to wait 35 days until the egg will hatch. You don't have to wait whatever amount of time until you reach the final destination to check if you're actually going forward, right? If you're actually in progression, or you're just like spinning around, right? Or going completely different direction. Yeah. So now what this tapping is that once you have this first step, like I said, you design these steps not just like, okay, I'm going to do this and this and this. You design these steps in a way that they become a measurable checkpoints, right? A measurable checkpoints. So just to give you another example, right? If I want to have a measurable checkpoint, let's say that my goal is to help my clients, right, who wants to establish personal brand on social media and start their business, right? That my goal is to have 100 customers that has running business and successfully helping people around the world, right? That's my big result, right? So now what I have to do, well, and it would be nice to pretty much have 5 before I have 100, right? Okay, so I'm gonna figure out how to have 5 clients who have running business, right? And then, okay, but this is still a very big step. So in order to have 5, okay, I need to figure out if I want them to have a running business. Before they will have a running business, I first have to motivate them to action, right? But before I will motivate anybody to action, I actually have to have at least one person that wants to talk to me, right? So my step 1 is find the person who wants to talk to me and who is interested in getting help, right? If I have that, that means that this is a checkpoint. Yeah, I got the person. This person wants to set up a personal brand and open the business online. I got it. Now, okay, I got this. What's the next step? Well, if I have that person, I have to find the best possible way how I'm going to deliver the strategy. But not in a way so they're just going to listen and do nothing, but in a way to inspire them to take action, right? So I need to do that. If I can inspire one person to take action, that means I can inspire 99 people after that, right? Make sense? So you can see how I'm making these steps, not just like, oh, this and just out of nowhere. These are logical steps, just smaller, 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 and they're measurable, right? In business, we have this method that is called SMART goals. We're planning goals through SMART planning, right? So it's SMART is another acronym that stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely, right? If you plan your goals like that, then it's going to happen, right? It's going to be really easy to track and to check what's working, what's not working, right? So you don't have to be Mama Ego, okay? So now, with that being said, guys, Dion is like she come up with this tap, right? So this is the basic way how you can take the first step. Once you define what's your first step, you're taking the step. That's what we call tapping, all right? Tap it, check it, what happened, right? Did it bring the result on the first level or not, right? And then you can adjust. Now, when we were talking with Dion about it for the first time, she asked me, Mike, what if somebody don't know what's the step 1? Like, what if I don't know what's the step 1, right? Because if I'm doing something for the first time, how would I know, right? So one thing is trial and errors, right? You can go and read a book about how other people were, let's say, if the example is setting up online business, right? So there's a million people who did that. I can read this book, that book, that book, and try to figure out by myself, right? And then by try to figure out by myself, I mean, do it and see what happens. Do it and see what happens. Tap it, right? But there is a faster way how you can do this, right? So this is something that I originally heard from Tony Robbins for the first time, but then after him, I heard it from pretty much every single coach I was working with, right? So what they say is this: don't get stuck in the tyranny of how. Don't get stuck in the tyranny of how. Find the who will know the how. Right? Find the person who already know the answer, and then you don't have to figure out how to do it, right? It's as simple as that, right? And the cool thing is that now that we have social media, guys, it's so easy to find that person, right? Before, in the old times, it was not that easy because, like, you know, it's not like you can connect with the whole world. But today you can. Today you can just hop on social media platform 1, 2, or 3. Even if you're not on social media, I was not on social media when I first learned about this, but it was just a matter of a couple of days for me to realize how to do that, right? And I can go there, I can ask my questions, and there will be people who will be dying to give me the answer, right? Some of them will give me the answer for free. Some of them will coach me, right? Or tell me I have this program that has exactly what you wanted, right? And if I check out the program and it actually really gives me the exact result that I was after, I take it, right? If I can afford it, obviously. If I can't, then you know what I do? Because actually that was the situation in my case. I was not able to afford coaches for thousands of dollars and that will give me the answers. But if I found a person who had the answers and I couldn't afford that person, what I do? I go to his group, I try to follow his students, right? Because if like, let's say we can start with the Tony Robbins is a guy who has who has events for thousands and thousands of dollars. I can't afford him, but I'm going to go to somebody who already was learning from him and have some initial success, right? And if that person can help me, then because I only need the next step, I don't need the end result yet. I just need the next step, right? So I can either have that knowledge for a tiny fraction of the price that Tony Robbins will take from me, or even for free. Because if these people are just literally starting, in most cases, they are dying to share their knowledge. They really want to do this, right? They want to come and serve people for free. So if you find the right person, you, by the way, you have multiple examples in this room alone, right? Holly, Sema, Dion, Melanie, Cameron, we are all students of our mentors, and we're coming here to serve you for free because we are growing at the same time, right? That's how it works. So there are people who want to help you. You just have to lay it out there. What do you want? Right? What do you want? And you will find the people. It's as simple as that. Right? So with that, guys, that's pretty much the whole thing. I only wanted to show you that this whole thing comes with the implementation tool. Okay, so now I showed you how this works, how you do this GPS, and what we're going to give you is this little worksheet. I'm just going to show it to you really quickly. Let me just share the screen. There you go. Okay. This is the tool. So I actually put some tips over here in the front of the tool just to give you some block. There you go. So just to make sure that you're using this tool properly, right? Like utilizing it to the maximum. But at the end of the day, what it is just these 3 questions, right? Okay, question 1, question 2, question 3. Now, I wanted to do it live with you over here deliberately because this is very important. This step over here, because we are using the GPS acronym, so I put it in like this. But the truth is that this is step 1. Okay. This is step 2, and this is step 3. Why it's 2? Okay, I'm gonna fix it later. Okay, step 1, step 2, step 1, step 2, step 3. We first define where we want to go. Okay, then we figure out, okay, where am I right now? What I have, what I don't have, how much time can I put in this? How much money can I invest in this? What I can sacrifice for this, right? What not? Like all these different things, you have to be true to yourself, right? It's for you. It's not for anybody else. You do it for yourself, right? Be true. And then once you have these 2 things, it's going to be kind of easier to define what are the steps, right? And again, the moment you don't know what the step should be, you go and find the person who knows, right? You have the steps and you zoom in on step 1, right? And you can do this, like I'm utilizing this tool on a weekly basis. I'm designing my GPS once a week. I sit down and I figure, okay, Mike, what do you want to achieve in this week? Okay, this is the goal that I want. That's my one big goal that I want to have, right? Okay, where are you at right now? What is missing, right? Why it's not happening yet, right? Okay, I need to do this, do this, do this, do this. Right? I don't have this. I don't know how to do this. I need to reach out to this person who will tell me how to do whatever else that I don't know, right? and I design my steps. Okay, this is my plan for the week. This week, in order to reach this destination, to reach this goal, I'm going to have to do these 3, 4, or 5 different steps, right? And then every day I can sort of like tap into my GPS and say, do I have the step 1 done? If it's done, then the next day I can zoom in on the step 2. If I don't have it done, then I can ask myself, why? What happened? Why didn't I do it? Because I didn't know how, or because whatever else came in a way, right? So you can basically give yourself this reflection moment. And if the problem was because I didn't know how, then it's a signal for you, find the who, right? If it was a different problem, then you can just give yourself some grace. It's okay. Life sometimes comes in a way, and you're just gonna postpone and make sure that you're still on the path, that you're still doing these steps. Maybe you need smaller steps. Maybe if the problem is with the time, then book the time, block the time. That was one of the tips that I was giving in the tool. Block the time for stuff that matters, because otherwise the urgent stuff will take over your day, right? So this is very important that you actually have it in your calendar. This is where I'm going to be doing this action that is taking me to the goal that I wanted to be, the place that I wanted to be, right? So with that, guys, that's it for today. We finished on time, right? I hope that it was helpful. Let me know if it was helpful, if this is something that is actually giving you time, like a tool that you can use and you will be using it. I would really like to know if it was helpful to anybody in the room, okay? And you can see how it is connected to the knowledge that you already get from other speakers, right? The belief system about yourself and the allocating the stuff that you're afraid of to make sure that you're actually doing the things that matters, the things that move the needle. Awesome, super. That's great to know that, guys. Perfect, great. That means that my job is done. You know, I'm very happy that I was able to provide you some value today. Now, Dion is going to have one more day tomorrow, and like I said, you're in a super amazing hands, because when it comes to building your image, creating your image, your better version of yourself, Dion will definitely make an awesome job with you. Now, if any of you guys are actually thinking about taking that image and plugging it into, like turning it into a business in a sense of figuring out what you're good at, figuring out what you're passionate about, and turning your passion into a business, this is what I'm helping you with. This is because I'm taking that image that Dion can help you build, and I help you communicate that to other people on social media, so they come to you and they pay you in exchange for your knowledge and skills and expertise. Okay, so if this is something that you would want to explore, I'm just going to drop a link to my group on Facebook. Okay, and you can go, and this is a free group. You don't have to pay anything to join the group. I'm helping a lot of people there who are setting up their own brands and starting in this education business, in the knowledge self-education business. And you can find a lot of useful materials over there. But in case you'll be interested in actually having a person who will be giving you one step at a time, then I'm your guy. Okay, so with that being said, guys, thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see everybody tomorrow at our bonus day.